Well, good evening, everybody. Right now, it looks like DB's having some technical difficulties. But here, oh, okay, here he is. I don't know what happened there. You just kind of like came off as soon as the show started. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I noticed before the show, at the last minute, that the whole time it had been playing the audio through my monitor speakers, so I didn't think anybody needed to hear that. So I was messing around with my sound settings.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, we're good. We're good to go. All right. Good evening, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to another episode of Critique Corner with me, Daniel Parker.
And me, DB Fastbinder. And tonight we have a rarity. Everything has been released in the last decade instead of it being a cavalcade of classics.
Yes, yeah. So mark this day on your calendar, folks. But if you are returning, welcome back. If you're new, what we do is we critique stuff from our corners, and as DB mentioned, we usually do a mixture of new and old. Although lately we've been doing a lot of older stuff, and then of course this week we've got a lot of new things we're reviewing. And to start us off this week, we have the Highwaymen.
The legends who took down Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes. It's starring Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson as the Texas Rangers, who were older guys. They're well past their prime, but they still got it done. In 1930, it takes place in 1934. Okay, so Costner's name is Frank Hammer, and Woody Harrelson's character is Manny Galt. And the movie starts off where Bonnie breaks Clyde and a couple of their other gang members out of prison.
Out of a outdoor work camp.
Right, yeah, out of work, yeah. And then they go on their little, killing and robbing spree, which most people, I think, are probably familiar with Bonnie and Clyde. I don't necessarily want to go through that whole history.
The quick and dirty of it is that they were Depression era criminals who captured the public consciousness because some people saw them as being Robin Hood types. Others, and also there was the whole romantic angle where they were a couple out there on the run. And then other people pointed out they're mostly just killing a lot of people.
Yeah. And indiscriminately too. I mean, they were killing law enforcement. They were killing innocent people. I mean, yeah, they were not they were not nice people.
I guess it's kind of encouraging that sort of two movies, or everybody watching the same event but seeing two different movies, as the now sadly late Scott Adams would point out, is not a new phenomenon.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's basically
the other interesting context is that apparently at this stage of history, the Texas Rangers have been disbanded.
Yeah.
And so they end up getting a couple of former Texas Rangers out there to do what they need to do best, or do what they do best, which is manhunt.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Texas Rangers were disbanded by the governor at that time, Ma Ferguson, who was played by Kathy Bates. Which is kind of interesting that there was a female governor of a state in the 1930s.
Yeah, that struck me as kind of odd too.
I have to confess, I don't really know much about the history of Texas governors, so I don't know. Maybe like she was married to the governor, and then when he died, she got the office. But no, that wouldn't make it.
Or she might have run for. I don't know. That is a research topic for another time.
Yes, indeed.
But, yeah. What is interesting, and this is just a quick look over the Wikipedia page, I think we were kind of robbed of a somewhat better version of this movie.
Mhm.
Apparently, this had been in development hell since 2005,
Ooh.
and it was originally going to be a Paul Newman and Robert Redford project.
Oh.
The film began development at Universal Pictures, but never came to fruition. And then Netflix picked it up in 2018, which
Mm.
that sticks because that's kind of the generation of hello, this is Netflix, you're greenlit,
Yeah.
when they're
Very
just
true.
throwing crazy amounts of money to fill their service.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this would have been good with Newman and Redford.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh. Well, but in any event, we end up with Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson, which um,
they're both fine actors in their own rights.
yeah,
Uh, it's just that dang. Okay,
yeah,
so I'm going to say straight up front, this movie was kind of dull.
hmm
Um, Now, it's I think it's like a kind of not kind of it is a realistic take on what the events of it were. It's interesting because you very rarely see it from the perspective of Bonnie and Clyde.
yeah. They're not in it very much. They're very much a uh, an unseen what do you want to call it? Unseen force, I guess.
Right? Like they occasionally have a scene where they pull an ambush trick to kill some people on some back roads, and like these are the clues that lead Harrelson and Costner closer to catching them.
Yeah,
But like it's not like we have a long scene where they themselves talk to somebody,
yeah,
which is kind of like the outsider's perspective that the real investigators would get. So that tracks.
yeah,
But it
and
does
yeah,
mean that more of the movie has to lie on their shoulders.
yeah, yeah. They have to carry the movie. Just the two of them, which I mean, I would say that given the acting caliber of both men, I think they can do that, given the right script. Um, but yeah, I would agree. This movie it's very talky, um, and I think the reason we probably don't see Bonnie and Clyde that much is because there was already a Bonnie and Clyde movie, um, and they're probably worried that they would draw comparisons to that. Um,
That's true.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's one of the few movies my mother has always warned me to never watch.
Really?
Yeah, I'm guessing it was for the violence.
Huh. That must be a really shocking amount of violence, where she has a narrow opinion of your ability to withstand violence in movies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I mean, I thought there were some like decent parts in the movie. Like
Oh, there were.
yeah, like I mean, okay, like I'm a sucker for a 1930s 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, era movie. Um, I always, I really like that period in time and period in history. It's just,
Right. And it's a side of the 1930s that you don't always see in movies because
yeah,
we've even done a couple of period pieces here where it's like, oh, it's the big city speakeasies and everyone's dressed up in glitz and glamour and enjoying some uh, some bathtub hooch.
yeah, yeah,
This is more the bank's going to take everything, or
yeah,
already has taken everything uh,
yeah, yeah,
side of things out in the sticks. So it's like definitely the grittier and grimier part of the 30s that isn't as commonly shown in movies. So kudos for that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this was definitely the part of the world that my grandparents grew up in. Um, because my grandfather was he was from Austin, Texas. So I don't know what Austin was like in the 30s, but I would imagine it was probably not too different from Houston and Dallas, or the other parts of Texas that they showed in the movie. But But yeah, and the other part of it too, I do think the performances were decent enough. I mean, you know, Costner's Costner. It's just,
Right. I was kind of startled when I found out that he didn't direct or write this thing, considering how much it's like when we watched that cowboy movie last year that they never actually, as far as I know, released the second half of.
Horizon. Yeah.
Horizon, that's it. It's like that movie was in love with him. And this movie isn't quite so dramatic as that, but still.
Yeah. And it was interesting, like kind of like, especially back then, like obviously manhunts were done very differently than they are today, because of course back then there were no cell phones, there's no internet, telephones were very bare bones. They were just starting to get radios in their cars.
Right.
So, just, and they were like, and the other thing too is they had to sleep in their cars because there were no like motels or anything.
Right. So it was a rough go of it.
Yeah. But yeah, but other than that, like, it's just, yeah, there's really not a whole lot to this movie other than that. It's just very,
It kind of, if it had come out in 2020, I would have said it's a remnant of the ACAB era because of some of the way it discusses law enforcement, things like that.
Yeah.
Like you have some kind of predictable backstory with them having like a traumatic event where one of them shot a kid.
Yeah.
But that is a thing that can happen, especially in the middle of a large scale raid.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The other thing is that, so I recently, and I don't know where this was filmed, but there is a decent shot. It was filmed in the UK. So you want to know part of the reason why a lot of movies look kind of dull lately? It isn't just like the switch over to digital cameras and lighting. It's partially because if you film in the UK, part of the reason they like to film in the UK is because it's overcast so often that you have a very consistent level of shadow and light.
Right.
So this definitely looked. If it has Netflix lighting, whatever the reason, and it kind of fits the gritty realism of the movie, but it also makes it kind of undynamic to look at.
Yeah. Although I will say, like, it does look like West Texas. Because I have been to West Texas. I've been to Lubbock. I mean, that's what it looks like.
Okay, then that could just be the digital light this time.
Yeah.
Or digital cameras this time. Excuse me. Man, I think this thing could have been better if it was like half an hour shorter. Because when you get down to it, it's a series of ambushes, and then trying to find out what happened after the ambush.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it's not an action movie that makes you feel good about the action. Just like it's just a series of awful events when you get down to it.
Yeah. And Taylor Logan, good to see you.
Hello.
But yeah, I mean, I would definitely put this in the category of a typical like Netflix original movie. Just not really very uninspiring, and just.
I can see why Universal let it go the way of development hell.
Yeah.
And why Newman and Redford opted not to be in it.
Yeah.
I want to say something positive about it. I did enjoy the scene at the gun store, which is like what Paul Chad would call like a gear porn scene.
Yeah.
Where you just like his thought process, like, do you have this gun in black? This is going to be shiny as shit.
Mm-hmm. He's just like grabbing all, having them grab all those guns, and they're like, okay, well, which one do you want? All of them.
Yep.
Which you could do that in the 1930s. Can't do that now.
Yeah. No waiting period. No checking to make sure he's actually law enforcement.
Nope.
Okay, sir. We take the Second Amendment very literally these days.
Yes. Yeah, man.
So that was probably my favorite scene in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like it's the scenes are overlong. The acting is kind of what you would expect. Nothing really too stand out. Just it is an okay time waster, but there are better Kevin Costner and or Harrelson movies. Actually, I don't know if they've done other ones together, but you know what I mean. Like there's if you want to see these actors doing their thing, there's better options.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of better options. So a couple weeks back, I did my first thoughts on Dispatch. Daniel and I have now both finished the game, so we're going to give it our final verdicts, which may slightly disagree with each other.
Yes. Yeah, I started getting into it right around the time, I think, when you did your initial review. I mean, overall, I thought the game was a lot of fun to do. It was fun to quote unquote play. It doesn't really, there's not a whole lot of skill involved with it. Well, except for maybe the segments where you actually have to send the heroes out to do hero jobs, which
right, and the hacking mini games.
Yeah, the hacking. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, the hacking mini games.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who found those kind of annoying.
Yeah. There were some of those were really tedious, especially when the antivirus things start chasing you.
Yeah. So just in case you have been living under a rock or didn't see the first part, Dispatch is also Hey Ninja. So Dispatch is basically it was originally going to be a TV show, but that got canceled in part due to COVID, and also I have to imagine that the logistics of getting a live action TV show are always a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they turned it into a Telltale-alike game instead, which basically just means it's a story structure where you as the main character are presented with decisions every so often, and you are told that a character will remember that you did X. Other examples of the genre outside of Telltale games like The Wolf Among Us are Square Enix's Life is Strange series.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We were just talking about that Ninja with the antivirus parts. Yeah.
Yep. So like part of the gameplay is you're going through a superhero story where Robertson, the main character, he is Mecha Man, which is like a more probably realistic vision of what Iron Man would be like. So rather than being like a body contour suit, it's almost like a battle mech, not quite the 30-foot tall monstrosities from BattleTech, but like I'd say 15 feet at least. It's big enough that he can sit in the cockpit pretty comfortably. And that was my favorite visual part of the game, was the Mecha Man scenes, just because it's not exactly, it creates a different visual dynamic, because you don't usually see the hero as this big hulking behemoth. Like usually you have like wiry snappy superheroes, right? Like Spider-Man or
right. Yeah.
But his armor is destroyed in a confrontation with Shroud, the villain who killed his dad, and so he doesn't have the resources anymore to repair his suit. So he takes a job with the city's superhero dispatch department, where he's put in charge of what amounts to a Suicide Squad style team of reformed villains.
Yes, affectionately called the Z Team,
which is accurate.
Yeah,
especially early on.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is the second half of the gameplay. The second gameplay mode, outside of the story and occasional quick time events in the storyline, are these dispatch events where you have to decide who is the best fit for a particular mission, or what combination of heroes is the best fit for a mission. And they do a pretty decent job of varying it up, just adding new complications and challenges. So, for example, you always are having to make Sophie's choice because your heroes can only go on so many missions.
Yes, which was always irksome to me.
Yeah, and also, even if you set the heroes out, if your heroes weren't a perfect fit for it, there was a randomized event where it's like you would have these different shapes drawn on each other. Then you'd have this bouncing indicator, like hitting the sides of the triangle or whatever other shape it made, to see if end up where the two parts intersect. And that part, man, there were so many times I was just outside of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would happen to me too. Yeah. Or later on in the game, like you'll have an event that you send one of them out on one of these missions, and like no matter what you do, you're gonna fail.
Right. There's some where they play against your expectations, and if your stats are too high, you run afoul of this villain group and lose automatically
Yeah.
in a particular attribute. And these are interspersed with these hacking missions where Robert hacks into local security cameras. They have the explanation that the whole city is basically wired up. It's Los Angeles, but the whole city is wired up with these cameras, and everybody's paying them. It's like their ADT.
Yeah.
And so he can hack into the local cameras and make things happen with local electronics. I found these puzzles, like, some of them were a little annoying, some of them were severely annoying. There were more than my share that I probably would have figured out if I had another 20 seconds, because you're often on a timer too.
Yeah. The ones I really didn't like were when the arrows for the password thing were reversed.
Yeah, I think I just barely failed that one because it was just I was just a little too. I accidentally punched it in the right direction one time too many.
Yeah.
But yes, like that element comes. It's a kind of a copy of the game This Is the Police, which I think is a stronger version of this type of gameplay because you have more missions, so you have more chances to get good.
Yeah.
Or this one, what you don't really get any chances. Like okay, so like in a classic Telltale game, that you can't make a save state. Your only option to see different outcomes would be to go back and play the game again.
Yeah, or go back to the original, or go back to the save point that the previous save point, which could have been like 10 minutes ago.
Right. I might have saved scummed a couple of times when things just got too BS.
Yeah.
But part of the reason for this is because they want to encourage replays. Part of it is also because for a $30 game, it's only 8 hours of material, which kind of tracks if you think of this as, this was a TV script that they ended up turning into a video game.
Yeah.
So I will say that I've looked into the outcomes of people who have replayed the game a few times.
Yeah.
A lot of the Invisigal will remember that, don't really ever have a payoff.
Yeah. Yeah, and the romance options, of course, in the game. Yeah.
So it's funny. This is like the romance options are a lot of what drew a lot of people to the game.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just spoiled by actually good dating games like Katawa Shoujo being the main example. I would put up, like, this is actually art. Yes, I know it's a bunch of 4chaners coming together to make a game about dating disabled people.
Yeah.
No, it's actually good. But your kind of two options are Invisigal. the canonical choice, the right choice, the choice they want you to make. Because Daniel and I both made the same decision because we both believe in septum piercing theory, I guess.
Yeah.
And it concluded that Invisigal coming onto us because she had a wet dream in the middle of the night and said, he's kind of cute. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Thanks, subconscious. Was not exactly the thing of high romance.
Yeah.
So we went with Blonde Blazer, the dependable one who seemed like she might have been hiding something early on, but you find out why she was acting slightly evasive. And it's like, okay, on the one hand, I don't necessarily like being your rebound, but on the other hand, I get it after meeting the paramour.
Yes, Phenomena Man.
Yes. The, the funny thing, the funny thing about the Blonde Blazer thing is if you choose to date her instead, they cut to Invisigal sitting in a movie theater looking sad because you didn't show up when she invited you. Boo hoo.
Yeah.
Apparently, the opposite scene does not happen when if you pick Invisigal. Because again, Invisigal is the right option. Like clearly, you're into alt chicks who are 27 years old but have the emotional maturity of a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how startled I was when I found out she wasn't like 21 or something. I would have said 19 if they didn't keep letting her to bars.
Yeah. Yeah, Invisigal is a student, not a lover. Yeah.
So, but I remember that the game developers were kind of surprised that the romance was such a big focus for people. And after playing the game through, I see why they were surprised. There aren't very many scenes where it actually comes up.
Yeah. Yes, it's very sparing. Yeah. Yeah, and of course you make other decisions, obviously in the vein of Telltale, that affect the game later on. Like at one point, you have to decide like which team member to cut and which team member to keep.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on which team member you choose, affects the ending. Which that's which is an interesting bit of decision making, especially when you compare it with what other people decide. And I can't tell you how many times when I get to the end of an episode, and like more often than not, I'm in the minority.
Yeah, well, it's like about 60% of people chose to date Invisigal. Most people cut the Batman, which I don't get. Like, you got Moist Critical there doing his Moist Critical voice as a smarmy crypto bro villain bat.
Yeah.
like a literal man bat. And like he's great. What like there's plenty of are you so hard up for fan service in this game that you need to keep what's her name around?
Coupe.
Coupe, yes.
Yeah.
Who is not nearly as amusing.
No. Yeah, and they just says they expect players to pick the jerk options too. Yeah. And he said, yeah, really, most people cut Coupe by a ridiculous margin when I was playing.
I guess the statistics have balanced out since then.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, and I will say the one aspect of the game I didn't like, and I do agree with you, DB, is the humor. Very middle school level humor, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, and also it's kind of funny how they're edgy and they have a lot of double standards. Like when the succubus keeps trying to touch Robert's package in one scene, and it's like, okay, imagine if the scene was Flambe or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Repeatedly trying to touch Blonde Blazer. Would that have been a joke?
No, it wouldn't have. We all know what would have happened to Flambe if he tried that.
Yep. A quick meeting with human resources.
Yes.
Um, and also like there's just so much. I would say that the humor for me had like maybe a 10% hit rate.
Mm. Yeah, and Ninja says he thinks that the game keeps the current play files of the game, so people who cut Coupe on the first playthrough may have did it the opposite. On okay, yeah, that makes
Right,
sense.
so I bet a lot of people did go back, do a second playthrough, making opposite choices and invalidate their first vote. So what you might have seen with Coupe getting cut early on might have been everybody's first reaction.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, now, as far as, but yeah, the humor is kind of meh.
yeah.
I don't like the sailor mouth that everybody has, just because it kind of makes all the dialogue very samey.
Yeah. Well, once again, they're trying to be edgy.
Right. Um, the one character who it does work for is what's the name of the speed superhero?
Oh, well, his real name was Chase, but I can't remember what his hero name was.
Yeah. Well, regardless, Chase was by far my favorite character because he has a cool deal where he has super speed, but it ages him to use it, which he didn't realize until it was way too late. So now he looks, as he put it himself, Trackstar, that's it.
Yeah.
As he put it himself, he's now a little black Einstein.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was my favorite character. He's great in every scene he's in.
Yeah.
He gets to do the most heroic thing in the game.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and he gets really attached to Robert's dog Beef.
Yes. Which I admit, Beef was cute, but Beef also struck me as okay, here's this manipulative element in the game that is just kind of expected.
Yes, and it does happen. Yeah.
So it's just yeah, I don't know, like okay, so getting into some spoilers for the end there,
Yeah.
it's especially funny to me that Invisigal is totally willing to go villain again if you don't tweet her well enough and fail her.
Yeah.
Considering that Trackstar just about killed himself saving her life.
Yeah. 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 Well, in my playthrough, she does become a villain.
Yeah, no, I've completely failed her too.
Yeah.
It's because I'm sure I'd failed too many missions with her, but also I
Yeah.
cut her from the team when everybody objected. It's like I was like, objectively they're right. I did cut Coupe for less.
Yeah.
But also, like, and they literally say that you failed her in the. It's like you and 37% of players failed Invisigal. It's like, excuse me, she's an adult. She made bad choices on her own.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are not going to guilt me into liking your pet character.
Yeah.
Which, by the by, Invisigal actually uses a lot of the tropes that or a lot of the behavioral tropes that I used with Kyo in my Magpie Wizard novels, where she's a little awkward, uses invisibility to get out of conversations. The difference is that Kyo is 19 and is intentionally written as being emotionally stunted because she's super shy.
Yeah. Whereas Invisigal is a 27-year-old woman who has no excuse. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say overall that I wouldn't recommend it to most people, but what I will say is that I know that I'm by far in the minority about how I feel about this game based on the 96% positive reaction on Steam.
Yeah.
So taking my subjective experience of annoyance out of it, I would say that things like Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel have the same sort of edginess to them. This is basically, what if Vivzy Pop wrote a Marvel movie?
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So I think if you like either of those series, this is totally in your wheelhouse. Give it a go.
Mhm.
Um, I think that if you were to ask like what would be my best experience, I would say this is The Police and The Wolf Among Us have been on are out for many years.
Mm.
Go play one of those. You can. I suspect you could probably go pick them both up on Steam for the same cost as Dispatches today, which I think is a little overpriced for a $30 price tag, like for an 8-hour game.
Yeah, yeah, I'd probably put it at like 15 or 20.
Right, like wait for a sale, though it's popular enough that we're probably not going to get too many big sales in the near future.
Yeah, yeah.
Ninja says the reason is that it's a modern storytelling that actually respects the superhero genre. That's the other thing, is that I might be discounting just how hungry people are for something that's sort of good. Um,
Yeah.
it's like the Tyler Perry effect. Like if you're just if you're looking for family friendly comedies that are about the African American experience, and Tyler Perry is all you have, it's something is better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But no, I overall I think I had a more enjoyable experience than you did with it. But aside from some of the nitpicks and frustrations that I had, especially with the hacking portion of the game, but I mean, and I liked some of the voice acting performances, especially with Robert. Robert's voiced by Aaron Paul, who most people know him best as Jesse Pinkman on Breaking Bad. Um, which that was kind of funny when Flambe kept calling him a bitch, because that was his catchphrase on Breaking Bad. He called everybody a bitch.
Okay, I might have gotten more out of the game if I'd seen Breaking Bad before.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I liked it over, for the most part. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And curious. I'll probably pick up the second season, whenever they do one.
I
As
will
long as
also
yeah,
say that. Sorry, dipping to cut you off.
that's okay.
I will also say that when the game is firing in all cylinders, I was enjoying myself quite a bit. It's just that most of the time, like I was just waiting for characters to stop talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is not a good thing to be in a Telltale-like game.
yeah, yeah,
I care more than I probably should about like verisimilitude. Like just some of the jokes were very like meta.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
it is nittiest of nitpicks. Like, and unfortunately, just if a nit bites you, you lose a little bit of blood. But if you get hit by a swarm, it can sap your will to keep going.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Uh,
Hmm.
Um, Speaking of things tied tangentially to superheroes, Ford v Ferrari.
Yes. Ford v Ferrari, the historical biopic slash sports movie, where it's actually based on a true story about when and I actually knew a little bit about this story before going into the movie, because on it was either Top Gear or the Grand Tour did a segment talking about it. So in the 1960s, uh, Ford tried to buy Ferrari, and Enzo Ferrari at the
Because
last
Ferrari
minute.
was basically bankrupt because they
Yeah,
put too much money into making high end cars and not enough into keeping the lights on.
Right. Yeah. And so Enzo Ferrari at the last minute he pulled the deal because he's a very prideful guy and he didn't want to be under the ownership of an American car company. So Henry Clay Ford II, who was the grandson of Henry Ford, was very angry, and so he said, "I want to build a great race car so they could beat Ferrari at Le Mans." And for those of you who don't know, Le Mans is the 24-hour race that takes place in France in early June, around there. And so then we also meet our two leads, which one is Carroll Shelby, who is a race car driver. He's actually he was like the only American to ever win Le Mans. And in this movie, he's played by Matt Damon. And of course, but he has to retire because he's got a bad heart. And so then he becomes a car salesman, and then he also has this like race car track that he works with. And one of the race car drivers is Ken Miles, who's a British race car driver, and that's Christian Bale's character. And he also has a garage that he runs. And of course, Ken has some money problems because he owes a lot of money in taxes. And so of course, race car driving isn't getting him any money. But then
not the most stable profession,
right? At least back in the 1960s. It's different today, but yeah. So then Ford actually. So another guy I got to mention real quick, John Bernthal's character. He's playing Lee Iacocca. And if you don't know who Lee Iacocca is, like, look him up because he one of the great business marketing minds who have ever lived. I mean, he saved Ford. That's not hyperbole. I mean, like the Mustang, that was all him. I mean, there's a scene in there where he's like doing this slide presentation for Henry Ford II, and he's talking about how the baby boomers, 17-year-olds, they don't want to drive these clunky cars that their parents are driving. They want to drive race cars, and that was where the Mustang came from.
Right. Didn't he later go on to basically save GM in the 80s?
Yes. Yeah.
That's really where I know him from.
I think that's where most people know him from. Yeah. So Lee Iacocca goes to Shelby to say, hey, we need your help building a car to race in Le Mans to beat Ferrari. And so then that's basically kicks off the rest of the action where they're trying to construct this car. And of course you got of course you have the relationship between Shelby and Ken Miles, which is not adversarial, but there was certainly they respect each other, I guess is the right way to phrase it.
Yep. Now, I think it's kind of funny. Christian Bale's performance in this is the closest I've ever seen him in a movie to being himself in that one viral clip where he freaks out at the person walking into the shot from behind.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God for you. Dude is a hothead.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah. There's a scene at the beginning of the movie where he gets into an argument with Matt Damon, and he's like, you keep talking, I'm going to throw this wrench at your head. and then, sure enough, he throws the wrench at him and hits his car windshield.
Yeah. And this was after he'd gotten into a shouting match with the ref about, oh, sorry, you can't race in this race. Your hood doesn't close. Your trunk doesn't close all the way.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, he's definitely the highlight of the movie.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
I will admit with Christian Bale, he doesn't disappear into the characters for me, just because I know him so well. So like I always just see Christian Bale,
Mm.
whereas I find Matt Damon more easy to accept, even though I've known him for longer. So search me, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, you kind of know what to expect with Damon most of the time.
Yeah, maybe it is because Bale swings so widely with his performances that I just see the performance.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed that what was it? Was it last week or the week before when we talked about the fighter?
I think it was the week before.
The week before, yeah, yeah, and he definitely saw that with that performance too. Yeah,
Right? Or you don't entirely believe it. It's like, you know, there is definitely a place in this world for actors who you don't really notice, but unfortunately, nobody wants to be that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, trying to think what else in there. The other thing too is that the race car scenes I thought were a little were decent enough. You know, they weren't trying to. It wasn't necessarily about that. It was mainly just about the guys trying to make the car. It's a very much a character, driven story. Which, of course, this movie was directed by James Mangold, so that's right up his alley.
Yeah,
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 yeah. And I thought the car scenes were all well shot.
yeah.
They were exciting. It wasn't like was it Forza, the PlayStation game turned into a movie we watched last year?
Gran Torino.
Gran Torino, that's it. That's right. Forza is the Xbox one.
Yeah,
But Gran Torino, I just remember finding the racing scenes so painfully dull.
yeah.
And it's like, how do you manage to make car racing boring in your movie about car racing outside of the scenes where someone crashes?
Yeah. Uh,
But Mangold got like you got the momentum. You've cared about the stakes much more.
yeah.
I think that part of it is just the focus on the one big race rather than trying to capture someone's entire lifespan like in that movie and just like seeing snippets of little races.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I noticed the son was Bale's son in the movie was definitely he seemed like very much like a Hollywood kid, where it's like they're very quiet and sad, and
Yeah.
they only enter the plot when they need to.
Yeah. I noticed that too. Yeah.
Now, I will say that it was kind of fun watching him come out of his shell when his dad was in the middle of that race, and
Mm,
like him explaining things to his mom, and just
yeah.
like clearly he loved his dad so much and just loved the whole racing culture.
Yeah. 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 I wonder if he ended up going into race car driving.
I don't know.
The, yeah. In real
Well,
life, the kid in real
yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's also. I'd prefer not to spoil this one. I think just because I think this is worth a watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's an ending that as soon as a scene starts happening, you go, "Oh, I see where this is going."
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
But that's the most I'll say about it. I will say that they do a great job of channeling Bale's anger into all these different scenes. Like in the big race, there's a scene where his car door just will not close.
Yeah.
And so just the sheer anger he's dealing with as he's trying, like you can just feel the frustration and the danger as he's trying
Yeah.
to go at these super high speeds.
Yeah. His door keeps flopping open. He's like, "You can't close the bloody door."
uh, yeah, I mean, I've been hearing good things about this movie for years.
Yeah.
I can definitely see why. I think the thing that surprised me the most was I was expecting to see more of the Ferrari team, but
Yeah.
the the inner politics of the Ford Motor Company were bad enough that you didn't need an external enemy.
Yeah. All the executives at Ford are definitely the antagonists.
Yeah, except for like I would say that Henry Ford II feels like he's he seems like a well-meaning king whose kingdom has gotten too big for him.
Yeah.
He was played by Tracy Letts. The scene where was Matt driving the car or was Bale driving the car?
Matt was driving the car. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, the scene where Matt took him out in the car and just made him realize how much the man in the machine matters.
Yeah.
Just because of what driving like that is like. Like I suspected he soiled himself.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a great, fun bulldog CEO performance with moments of like human softness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I would recommend this movie too. Yeah, even if you're not a car guy, just from an historical standpoint, I think this is definitely a good movie from that point. Yeah.
Which actually, now that you mention it, that's a mark in this movie's favor. Is I am absolutely not a car guy, and I suffer from what I call car blindness. People tell me I have a Toyota. I believe them because it has a T on the back. But like, I have my interests and passions that cost me money. Thankfully, cars are not one of them.
Mm. Yeah, you talk about an expensive passion. Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, but so if a movie that's about cars can hook me this much, then that's a good sign.
Yeah.
It is currently streaming on Netflix. I don't know how long it's going to be there, considering. Well, let's see, it's a Fox movie, or no, this is a Warner Brothers movie, wasn't it?
No, it's Fox.
Oh, was it Fox?
Which is
it's interesting that Disney let them borrow it then.
Yeah. They must still have like some old Netflix contracts, or maybe they just said, or Disney wanted some money. Yeah.
But regardless, watch it while you can. Who knows where it's going to end up next?
Yeah, indeed. Well, I think we've said all we need to say for tonight.
It's always so much faster to talk about things that are actually good.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it as always. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the bell, buy some books, and we'll see you next week. Night, everybody.
Good night.